Welcome to Social Security and You, our locally produced program on Social Security topics of interest, made right here in the Miami Valley area for you, the residents of Greater Dayton, Springfield, and beyond. I'm Theresa Busher. I'm your host of Social Security and You, and I'm a Social Security employee. I'm a public affairs specialist, so I work in the community and with professionals and families and folks of all ages and backgrounds talking about Social Security. So our program today is one that I think you really shouldn't hear no matter what your no matter what your state in life is at this point. If you've been on Social Security benefits for years or you say it's still a long time coming, we're going to talk disability. And this impacts all of us. It truly is one of those topics where no matter who I talk to, folks again that have been on benefits for years or are younger, their ears perk up. Because you think about your own family and loved ones, and you know someone who has struggled with a physical or mental or both disability, impairment. And so we're going to go through how you qualify for Social Security, because this can be the lifeline of survival for someone you care about down the road. And if you have never had to go through anything to do with Social Security, then consider you a blessed person, for you and your family. But most of us are going to have to face this at some point for someone that we love and care about. So it's really important to me to go over what is you need to know about and be prepared when you or your family, or if you have to face dealing with the Social Security disability process, because you guys, it's not terrible. This is a very important part of the Social Security benefit system. And I think once we break down what we mean by disability and how to file, it takes so much stress out of this whole situation. So let's go ahead and get started. First things first, we are recording the program in January of 2024. So if you happen to be looking at us later or in an archive, that's cool, but information can change a little bit year to year. We're talking 2024 amounts right now. And we are being in partnership today with the Miami Valley Communications Council. And we always make sure that we know that we do not endorse or prefer one group over another. We say everyone is equal and loved in the eyes of us at Social Security. So when we talk about disability, we're really talking Social Security programs of two different natures, okay? So as you can kind of see in the graphic here that's behind me, there's two floating bubbles of Social Security disability. When I talk disability, I'm really meaning two different types of benefits. One is Social Security disability, also known as SSD or SSDI for Social Security disability insurance. It's the same thing. Sometimes people call it regular disability. It is Title II of the Social Security Act. It's like retirement. You pay in through your Social Security FICA payroll taxes, and then if you become unable to work, you draw out. It's not like retirement. It's not based on need. Wealthy people get Social Security disability based on you've paid in, you've worked. And like retirement, it leads to Medicare. Again, not based on need. You can have assets, you can have a spouse that's working, you can have properties, and get on SSD and Medicare. The other type of disability that we are always looking at when we talk to folks could be need-based. You may not have worked, or you may have very little work, and you still might be able to qualify for what we call SSI, Supplemental Security Income. That is Title 16 of the Social Security Act. It is based on income, low assets, and living in the community. And it is, again, based on this kind of need-based factor that leads to Medicaid. Now Medicaid's actually administered in Ohio through Job and Family Services. So it's a state entity. Like we at Social Security don't determine a person's Medicaid. That's low income. But if you get on SSI, you automatically go through an electronic process of getting in state Medicaid. So when I talk disability, I really mean need-based SSI and regular disability based on work. Both of these have a definition of disability, though, which is our own Social Security definition. And I think it's important to look at that for a moment, because it's different from, say, your employer's short-term disability, or I know a lot of folks that get VA benefits or our workers' comp. And I'm like, okay, those are their own definitions. Here's our Social Security definition of disability. Now, if you're an adult, for us, that means 18 or older. To meet our Social Security definition of disability, you really have to have two things going on. You have to have a condition, and that condition has to prevent you from working, okay? So when I talk about a condition, it has to be something that's permanent, that's expected to be around for at least 12 months, at least a year, or it results in death. We don't define that. We got to keep that wide open, all right? And this condition has to keep you from doing substantial gainful activity. So that's our Social Security jargon for work. So your impairment or your combination of impairments have to keep you from doing work. Now, you don't have to wait 12 months to file, but the condition has to be expected to keep you from working for at least 12 months. So the next question folks will say to me is they'll be like, okay, I have a very serious condition. I know I got the condition, okay. Well, how are you defining work? What is substantial work? And for us, it's a monetary amount. It's not about hours. It's about how much you're earning. What is your gross? So look at this third bullet with me here on our slide. In 2024, the amount of substantial gainful activity per month for us is $1,550 in gross earnings or wages, $1,550. So if you are earning below that, you move forward with our disability definition. That's $2,590 if you are blind. But that is a very low amount of work, okay? So I'll give you an example. My partner and I were doing outreach for ALS of Central and Southern Ohio. And if I am diagnosed with ALS, I know I have the condition. I have a disability that's going to meet our definition of disability. But if I'm working full-time, I got a condition. But if I'm working full-time and I'm making $100K this year and I'm still working, I don't go through the Social Security pathway for disability yet while I'm working, because if my wages are above $1,550 gross, we're going to say you're not meeting our definition of disability. Now, it's important for me to point out that you might still be on payroll. Maybe I'm still getting a check, but I still might be able to move forward with my disability application, even if I'm above $1,550 in gross wages, if that money that I'm getting from work is because of short or long-term disability, or it's personal days, vacation days, sick time. So maybe I have 2 months of sick time, saved up. I'm burning through that. I'm still getting paid, but it's my sick days I've saved up, my personal days, my vacation days. That's not work. That doesn't count towards the $1,550 limit, all right? But let's say that I know, some of you might be in that situation where you know you or someone you love has a very serious condition, but they're still working, so they don't meet our definition yet. They're making about $1,550 gross a month. But the minute they go off of working, even if they're still on short-term disability or they're burning through those sick days or they're on leave of absence, they can go ahead and file, all right? Then it's the time to file. I just want to mention that everybody 18 or over has this definition of disability. If it's a child, it's similar, but a little bit different. We don't expect our little ones to be working. So it's that you have to have a severe permanent condition that causes limitations. It's about functioning in at least 2 areas of functioning in a child's life. We call these domains, as compared to other children of the same age. For us in Social Security, these domains, think of it as kind of a holistic approach. This child has to have severe functioning in at least 2 areas, such as using information, completing tasks, social interaction, fine motor, like manipulating objects, large motor, getting about, physical well-being, caring for themselves. So it's kind of like the whole picture of the child compared to other children of their same age. There has to be marked impairments in at least 2 areas of their lives. And every child has a new disability determination made at age 18 plus. I'm talking even if that child is in high school until 22, adult definition of disability applies, which is, remember, for adults, condition and work, right? It has to keep you from doing that substantial work, which for us, and that means $1,550 in gross wages, $1,550 in gross wages in 2024. Okay, so that's what we're looking for in terms of our definition of disability. Now let's take a look when we're screening for both SSI and SSDI Again, what are we looking for? And we're going to focus on adults here for a moment because for all adults 18 and older, we are looking at both SSI and SSDI. So let's look at the left column for a moment here. With SSDI, we're going to screen to see if you have worked. Because again, SSDI is based on paying in to Social Security through jobs. It could be retroactive for up to a year, and there may be more than just benefits payable to you. Depending your children, your minor children, maybe even a child with a disability that's your adult child, might be able to draw benefit off of your SSDI, maybe even a spouse. And payments are made on the second, third, or fourth Wednesday of the month, just like retirements. All right, now moving down that SSDI column, benefits are based on your work. It's insurance. That's why we sometimes call it disability insurance, SSDI, that you have earned through your FICA payroll, and it is not based on need. It's based on your work, like retirement. So it doesn't matter if you have wealth, if you have a spouse that's working. It's not based on assets, and it leads to Medicare, like retirement. Now let's look at SSI in the right-hand column here. SSI is based on need. So there is no retroactivity nor dependent benefits. You know someone's getting SSI if benefits are paid on the first of the month. Now, unlike SSD, it's not based on work, but SSDI benefits, the amount varies depending on how much a person has worked over their lifetime. An SSDI benefit could be $1,800, it could be $2,800, it could be $2,900 a month. It all depends on what your work was. SSI is based on a federal benefit rate, also called an FBR. It's a national set amount. So no one gets more than $943 per month total. That's the most you can get in an SSI payment. But it is based on need. And you may not be eligible for SSI if you have a spouse also, or if it's a child under 18 and mom and dad are in the home, mom or dad, I should say, then we look at parental income all the way up through 18. So the eligibility and the amount of SSI is based on the income coming into the home, as well as resources and living situation, and it leads to Medicaid. So how do you start the application process? Well, I'm going to talk about children first. With kids, what we're really looking for is need-based SSI because children obviously are not going to have had the ability to work. So if you think your child under 18 might qualify for need-based SSI, you can start the process with us online. You complete a child disability report through our Social Security website. That's ssa.gov or socialsecurity.gov/child disability report. Or honestly, if you go right in through our SSI benefit, it'll say apply here on our SSI page, and this will lead you to how to do that child medical report. Step 2, though, is we will want to talk to you about the non-medical portion of SSI because we have to go over mom and dad income. Are there assets for this child? What is that situation? And we're going to need to talk to you. You can actually request for us to call you with an appointment time by going online, but my preferred method is for you to call us directly. If you go online and request us to call you, it kind of adds a step. You don't make an appointment online with us. You just request that someone calls you with an appointment time. So I think it's a little bit easier for you to call us directly at our 800 number, which is 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. to set up an appointment with your local office. And you can set up an appointment for us to go over your parental income, assets, and to see if your child may qualify for SSI. Now, once a child turns 18, mom and dad income do not count anymore. Everyone 18 and older uses an adult disability application. And I will repeat that even if your child is in special services in high school until 22, they are an adult in our Social Security world, and you want to use the adult age 18 plus application. That screens for both need-based SSI and work-based SSD. And you can start the entire application online. You just click on apply for benefits and our online system walks you through it. If you don't want to do that and you say, I don't think I can deal with this, call us. Call us and we will make an appointment for you to do the application. We'll do it all on the phone with you. Now again, everybody 18 and older will be screened for both SSI and SSDI. And so I've had parents say, my 18-year-old is very impaired. They really haven't had any work history. We're still going to look at their SSDI and go through those questions. So you're going to have to cover both of them. So I tell folks, you might as well try to do this online if possible. Now I want to give you all a heads up that when you file an application online, now this is disability that we're talking about today, but the same thing will happen if you file for Medicare or if you file for retirement. You go through this application process, and the first thing you're going to be asked is if you have a My Social Security account. So everybody gets asked this question to sign in or to create a My Social Security account in order to apply online. And I've had parents say to me, my child is very impaired. Or maybe you're helping a friend do this and you're like, I just don't see how this is going to work. They're in crisis. I don't know if they have an account. They can't figure this out to do an account. They can't get it together to do a login.gov and do an account. That's okay. You can still start this process online. There's a little button. I'm going to pull this back up to the larger screen so you can see this a little bit better. When you start an application with us, you're asked, who is completing this application? If you say it's me, I'm applying for myself, okay? That's where we ask you to sign in through your My Social Security account. Because it expedites the process, you can electronically complete everything online. But there's another button that says, I'm helping someone, and therefore that person cannot sign the application. You can always go ahead and use that button if you can't sign the person into their My Social Security account. That at least starts the online process with us. Now, we're going to have everything signed. If you can't sign it electronically, doing that I am myself and signing in through your My Social Security account, that's okay. Then we're going to have to get some paper forms, and we're going to send those to you in the mail then to sign and either mail back or drop off at the local office. But at least if you fiddle with things, if you can't get in through the My Social Security account, then do the I'm helping someone button, and at least it'll get you going in the application. It may slow it down a little bit, but at least you'll get things rolling, and then you can sign the forms and bring them into the local office, all right? Anything you can do online actually does help speed up the process. If you don't want to do anything online, that's fine. Again, we'll do it through the phone, and you'll get a phone appointment set up. If you go to the online application, everybody's going to be asked a question. Do you intend to apply for supplemental security income? That is SSI. That is the need-based portion of disability. You always want to say yes to that if you think there's any chance of getting need-based SSI. If you are sure that you could not qualify for any need-based assistance, then of course you can say no. I don't want any SSI, forget it. And that's fine. We won't delve into that with you because, maybe I have quite a bit of money in the bank. I have multiple properties. My spouse and I are independently wealthy, whatever. You can say no. Remember that SSD based on work has nothing to do with wealth. You can have other types of wealth, multiple properties, assets, etc. It's about you've paid in and are unable to work, you draw out. If there's any chance, though, of a potential for need-based SSI, why not say yes? Even if you don't qualify, then we can always say, well, you won't qualify, but I always recommend say yes, all right? And let us at least look at it for you or for your loved one. Now, once you submit the paperwork to us, the local office will intake your information, and then we send the actual medical information that you provided us to the Ohio Disability Determination Service. Now, each state has their own disability determination service. Ours in Ohio is under the umbrella of the Opportunities for Ohioans with Disabilities, also known as the OOD. And our disability determination service then is kind of a localized bunch of examiners, and our examiners do not bring you into Columbus to see you face to face. It doesn't work like that. This is all electronically done, where our folks then will get information on your medical records and get information from your doctor visits, your hospitals, your labs, and we'll talk to you also about that. If you don't meet our basic requirements for SSD, like you've never worked, and you don't qualify for SSI because you have assets, et cetera, then we won't make a medical decision. I have had parents say to me, I'm on a medical decision for my child. I know I don't qualify though for SSI because that she won't qualify. I'm working, my spouse is working, but it doesn't work like that. We only make the medical decision if there's a potential, if you meet parameters for SSD or SSI. And while that case is in Columbus and we're getting medical records, it can take about 4 to 6 months. Now, you don't have to send in any evidence. If you have evidence you want to send in, you can bring that to a local office. We'll get it to Columbus. And you can even fax it into our local offices. When I show you our local office information, you can call or look online and you can fax information to our local offices. You don't need to give us anything, though, to start an application. Now, our folks in Columbus, though, when they pull medical information, may feel that you need to go to what's called a consultative examination. That's also known as the Social Security doctor visit. This is a normal part of the process, and people will get very nervous sometimes and say, I have this my application in for disability, and now Social Security wants me to see this specialist or this psychologist or whatever. Please talk to the examiner if you do not feel that you need to do that examination or you don't want to, because we usually are doing this because we need additional evidence and we don't want to deny an application. We need evidence. So please take this seriously. If you are asked to see a consultative doctor, go to that consultative examination or talk to your examiner, because you will be given a phone number and information of the examiner in Columbus, and talk through that process with that examiner. Don't just no-show, okay? Now, while this process can take about 4 to 6 months, I want to reassure all of you, please spread this word to family and friends. It is not true that everyone is denied, because a lot of folks will say to me, I know everybody's denied on the first round. It's impossible to get disability the first time you apply. That's not true. In Ohio right now, about 40% of our folks applying on the first round are approved. Now, I know you might say, well, that means 60% are denied. Well, but that means that a lot of folks, though, remember, may not meet our definition of disability. People sometimes apply for broken bones or for things that really don't meet our definition of disability. So please don't feel that it's already, that I'm not even going to try because I'm already going to get, denied. That's not true. Many people will get approved on the first round. If you're denied, the most important thing is to appeal. And it's free to appeal. Everything we do is free. You don't have to pay anybody to apply or to appeal. So if you were denied, you have 60 days to appeal. You can do that online. You go to disability, you click on our disability information and you'll be led to appeals. Or you can walk into an office, or you can call us and we will make sure that we schedule an interview to make sure that appeal goes forward. A lot of times folks will also ask me, well, what happens though if I want to bring in an attorney or a representative? You can do that at any point in the process. You can bring in an attorney or any other type of, it doesn't even have to be an attorney to be an official representative for you. Anytime in the appeals process, you can do that, okay? The most important thing is do the appeal though, and then that can all happen later. But it's only 60 days to file your appeal, so I want to make sure that you do that if you disagree with the decision. Now, if your case is approved, all right, if your case is approved, a local office will contact you for SSI and will verify income and resources and living situation. And again, if you're approved for SSI, you will automatically get Medicaid through Job and Family Services. For SSDI, the amount that you get, as we've already kind of mentioned, is dependent on how much work you've had. We'll also screen to see if you have minor children benefits that are payable or something called a disabled adult child benefit. Again, that could be one, if you have a child with a severe impairment, they may be able to get a benefit off of your parent record, your SSD. So we're going to screen for all of that if you're approved. Benefits are then paid after a 5-month wait period. The only one that doesn't have that is ALS. And again, like retirement, it's not based on your spouse's income or assets. Once a child is graduated from high school or a disabled adult child gets married, normally they're not your dependents and would not be on your record anymore. You can still get married to someone else if you're on SSD, right? It's your SSD. Your benefits are paid regardless of if you have a spouse or you don't have a spouse, if it's on your own work record, regardless of assets, etc. And it will lead to Medicare automatically after 24 months. Now, one final note I just want to bring up is that everybody on SSI or SSDI will get an eventual medical review. This is part of the normal process for us, and it depends on the impairment. If it's an impairment where we think that some improvement could happen, maybe you have severe diabetes, but we think that with medication, et cetera, and some other things, you might have improvement. Well, you could see us contacting you within about 5 years. I've had other folks who have had severe brain trauma injuries or things that cognitive impairments, it may be 10 years before you get a review, but it happens to everybody. And this is via snail mail, U.S. Postal Service. You will get a packet that says we're doing an update on your disability information. Again, we do this for all children when they turn 18. Now you can do some of this online. Most of it can all be done online. If you can't get online to do it and you get a medical review packet and you're freaking out, don't freak out. It's normal. This is part of the process. If you can't fill out the information, call us or bring it into a local office. I just want to reassure you that a periodic review asking for updates on the condition, on doctors, on prescriptions, it's normal for our process, right? That this can happen. The most important thing is if you get information like that from us in the mail, don't just put it in a drawer and ignore it. Deal with what's sent to you. If you have a question in it, remember you can call us. You can walk into a local office and we'll look at things and help guide you through. Okay, so as we wrap up today on our program, again, the most important things to remember are look at your My Social Security account for a good, accurate idea of what you could get on your own SSD. If you need to file for disability, start online. If you're not able to deal with that, you can call us and set up an appointment, and I'm going to show you our website as well as all of our local office and 800 number contacts, because we will assist you. We will do all the intake information. If you can't do it online, we'll do it all with you on the phone. And remember, not everybody is denied. That's a myth. It is very normal to be approved on the first round of that process. And if you are denied and you disagree with our decision, appeal timely. Appeal within 60 days. There's no cost for filing for disability, and there's no cost for doing an appeal. Now, we've got other programs that go additionally into disability information. We've got programs on Medicare. We've got programs on retirement, on Social Security cards, and all kinds of stuff. So look for our other Social Security and You programs through our MVCC archives. Go to mvcc.video, and in the search button, type in Social Security and You, and you'll find all kinds of Social Security programs that you can pick and choose and look at through your own needs and at your own fingertips, all right? So again, we're going to close up our Social Security and You disability session today. Please jot down your local office information as well as our 800 number and website. Thank you for joining us today at Social Security and You, and we hope to see you again soon.